Salam Hailey was 18 years old when her family threw her away like garbage. No warning. No explanation. Just a suitcase on the porch and a locked door. She stood in the pouring rain with $20 in her pocket and nowhere to go. The people who were supposed to love her had chosen to forget she existed. 3 hours later, she was sitting in a Las Vegas chapel. Drunk. Broken. And saying I do to a complete stranger. He was Korean. Dangerously handsome. And his eyes held secrets darker than the night sky. She didn't know his last name. She didn't know what he did for a living. She didn't know that by morning, she would be the wife of the most feared Mafia boss on the West Coast. One impulsive decision. One stranger. One marriage that would change everything. She thought she had nothing left to lose. She was wrong. Before we dive into the story, hit that like button and follow this page right now. Trust me, this story is going to take you on a ride you won't forget. If you love drama, dark romance, and twist endings, you're in the right place. Now, let's get into it. The day Salam Hale's life ended was a Tuesday. She remembered that detail clearly. Tuesday. Garbage day. The irony wasn't lost on her. She had come home from her shift at the grocery store expecting dinner on the table. Expecting her mother's complaints about the neighbors. Expecting her father's silence and her stepbrother's cruel jokes. Instead, she found her suitcase on the front porch. For a moment, she just stared at it. The old brown suitcase with the broken zipper. The one she had brought from Ethiopia when she was 12 years old. It held everything she owned. Which wasn't much. The front door was locked. She knocked. Once. Twice. 10 times. Finally, her mother's voice came through the wood. Cold. Final. Go away, Salam. You don't live here anymore. What? Salam's voice cracked. Mama, what are you talking about? Open the door. You're 18 now. You're not our responsibility. We can't afford to keep feeding you. Salam's heart stopped. Mama, please. I give you my whole paycheck every week. I pay for. It's not enough. Her mother's voice was flat. Emotionless. Tesfaye needs that room for his new baby. You have to go. Tesfaye. Her stepbrother. The golden child who could do no wrong. Where am I supposed to go? Salam whispered. Silence. Mama? Nothing. Salam stood on that porch for an hour. She knocked until her knuckles bled. She called her mother's phone 17 times. She called her father's phone 23 times. No one answered. The rain started around 6 p.m. By 7 p.m., Salam was soaked to the bone. By 8 p.m., she finally picked up her suitcase and started walking. She had $20. No car. No friends. No family. She was 18 years old, and she was completely alone in the world. Salam walked until her feet bled. She ended up at a bus station downtown. It was dirty. It smelled like urine and despair. But it was dry, and that was all that mattered. She sat on a plastic bench and counted her money. $20.37. That was her entire life savings. Everything else had gone to her family. Her family. The word tasted like poison now. A bus schedule caught her eye. Los Angeles to Las Vegas. One way. $18. Salam didn't think. Thinking hurt too much. She walked to the counter and bought a ticket. Las Vegas. The clerk raised an eyebrow. Little young for gambling, aren't you? Salam said nothing. She took her ticket and walked away. The bus left at midnight. Salam found a seat in the back and pressed her forehead against the cold window. The city lights blurred past. Her old life disappeared in the rearview mirror. She didn't cry. She was too empty for tears. Somewhere between Los Angeles and the desert, Salam made a decision. She was done being the good girl. Done sacrificing everything for people who didn't love her. Done playing by rules that only hurt her. If the world wanted to throw her away, fine. She would throw herself into something new. Something wild. Something that would make her forget. Las Vegas hit her like a punch to the face. Lights everywhere. Noise everywhere. People laughing, drinking, living like tomorrow didn't exist. Salam stepped off the bus with her broken suitcase and $2.37. She had no plan. No idea what she was doing. But for the first time in her life, she felt free. She walked down the strip, her eyes wide. Everything was so bright, so loud, so alive. It was the opposite of everything she had ever known. A man on the street corner was handing out flyers. Free drinks at some casino. Salam took one. First time in Vegas? The man asked. First time anywhere, Salam replied. He laughed. Well, welcome to Sin City, sweetheart. Try not to lose your soul. Too late, Salam thought. I already lost everything else. She found the casino. It was massive. Gold and red and dripping with excess. The kind of place her mother would have called the devil's playground. Good. Salam walked inside. She couldn't gamble. No money. But the flyer promised free drinks for first-time visitors, and Salam was desperate to feel something other than pain. The bartender looked at her suspiciously. ID? Salam handed over her driver's license. 18. Legal for nothing, really. Not drinking. Not gambling. Not existing. I can give you a soda, the bartender said, not unkindly. Please. He slid her a Coke. Salam wrapped her hands around the cold glass and stared at nothing. That's when she heard his voice. Give her whatever she wants. On me. Salam turned and forgot how to breathe. He was the most beautiful man she had ever seen. Korean. Tall. Sharp jaw that could cut glass. Black hair pushed back from his forehead. Eyes so dark they looked like black holes. He was wearing a suit that cost more than her entire life. His presence filled the space like smoke. I'm fine, Salam said. Her voice came out weaker than she intended. I don't need charity. The man raised an eyebrow. It's not charity. It's an investment. Investment in what? You look like you're about to shatter into a million pieces. He sat down on the stool beside her. Close. Too close. I find broken things interesting. I'm not broken. Liar. Salam's jaw tightened. Who is this stranger? And why did he think he could read her like a book? I'm fine, she repeated. You're sitting alone in a Vegas casino with a suitcase and tears in your eyes. That's not fine. That's rock bottom. Maybe I like rock bottom. The man laughed. It was a dark sound. Rich and dangerous and somehow beautiful. What's your name? He asked. Why should I tell you? Because I asked nicely. Salam studied him. Everything about him screamed danger. The way he held himself. The way people around them kept glancing over nervously. The way the bartender had suddenly become very interested in cleaning glasses at the other end of the bar. Smart Salam would walk away. But Smart Salam had gotten her thrown away like trash. Salam, she said. My name is Salam. Salam. He rolled her name on his tongue like he was tasting it. Beautiful. What does it mean? Peace. Ironic. You don't look very peaceful right now. What's your name? He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Park J1. Is that supposed to mean something to me? Something flickered in his gaze. Surprise? Amusement? No, he said slowly. I suppose it doesn't. J1 ordered for both of them. Expensive whiskey that Salam was definitely too young to drink. The bartender didn't even blink. I'm 18, Salam said, staring at the amber liquid. I know. I can't legally drink this. And yet here we are. J1 pushed the glass closer to her. Rules are just suggestions, Salam. The sooner you learn that, the easier life becomes. She took a sip. It burned. She coughed. J1 watched with something that might have been amusement. First time? He asked. First time for a lot of things tonight. Tell me about it. And she did. Salam didn't know why. Maybe it was the whiskey. Maybe it was the exhaustion. Maybe it was the fact that this stranger was the first person to really look at her in years. She told him about her mother, her father, her stepbrother, the suitcase on the porch, the locked door, the $20 that was supposed to be her entire future. She told him about Ethiopia, about leaving when she was 12, about never quite fitting in anywhere, about always being the outsider, the burden, the mouth they couldn't afford to feed. She told him everything. And J1 listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't offer platitudes. He just listened, his dark eyes never leaving her face. When she finished, the bar was nearly empty. Hours had passed without her noticing. So that's my story, Salam said, her words slightly slurred. Pathetic, right? No, J1 said quietly. Not pathetic. Tragic. But not pathetic. What's the difference? Pathetic people accept their fate. Tragic people fight it. He tilted his head. Which one are you, Salam? She looked at him. At this strange, beautiful, dangerous man who had appeared out of nowhere and made her feel seen for the first time in her life. I don't know yet, she admitted. Jaewon smiled. This time, it almost reached his eyes. Let's find out. 3 hours and too many drinks later, they were standing in front of a wedding chapel. Salam stared at the neon sign. A little white chapel. It blinked pink and blue in the darkness. This is crazy, she said. Yes. We just met. Yes. I don't know anything about you. Also yes. Salam turned to look at him. Then why are we here? Jaewon's expression was unreadable. You said you wanted to do something wild. Something that would make you forget. I was drunk. You still are. So are you. Not as much as you think. Salam's head was spinning. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. She was standing in Las Vegas with a stranger, contemplating marriage. This was the kind of thing that happened in movies, not in real life. Why would you want to marry me? She asked. You could have anyone. You're you. And you're you. Jaewon stepped closer. Do you know what I see when I look at you, Salam? I see fire. I see a girl who has been burned by everyone she trusted, and instead of turning to ash, she's still burning. That's rare. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe you're brave. Maybe there's no difference. Jaewon laughed. Maybe you're right. He held out his hand. What do you have to lose? Salam looked at his hand. Long fingers. Clean nails. A silver ring on his thumb. What did she have to lose? Nothing. She had nothing. No family. No home. No future. Maybe that was the point. She took his hand. The ceremony took 7 minutes. A tired officiant. Plastic flowers. An Elvis impersonator as a witness. It should have felt ridiculous. Instead, it felt like falling. Do you, Park Jae-won, take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. Do you, Salam Hailey, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? Salam's heart pounded. Jaewon's hand was warm around hers. His eyes were locked on her face. There was something in his gaze that she couldn't quite read. I do, she whispered. By the power vested in me by the state of Nevada, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Jaewon's hand came up to cup her face. His thumb brushed her cheek. Gentle. Too gentle for a stranger. Last chance to run, he murmured. I'm done running. He kissed her. It was soft. Brief. Barely a brush of lips. But something inside Salam cracked open. She had just married a stranger. And she didn't regret it at all. Salam woke up in the most luxurious bed she had ever seen. Silk sheets. Pillows that felt like clouds. Sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the entire city. Her head pounded. Her mouth tasted like death. And there was a weight on her left hand that hadn't been there before. She looked down. A ring. Gold and diamonds. It probably cost more than a house. Memories flooded back. The bar. The drinks. The chapel. The kiss. Oh God. She was married. She was married to a stranger. The bathroom door opened. Jaewon walked out. He was shirtless, and Salam forgot how to think. Tattoos. Everywhere. His chest, his arms, his back, all covered in intricate black ink. Dragons and tigers and symbols she didn't recognize. His body was lean and muscular, carved like a statue. He didn't look like a businessman. He looked like a warrior. You're awake, he said. Salam pulled the sheets up to her chin. We didn't. No, we didn't. Jaewon's expression was calm. You passed out the moment we got to the room. I slept on the couch. Relief flooded through her. Then embarrassment. Then confusion. Why? She asked. Why what? Why didn't you take advantage? You could have. I wouldn't have remembered. Something dark flashed in Jaewon's eyes. I'm many things, Salam. But I'm not that. Then what are you? He walked to the closet and pulled out a shirt. As he buttoned it, he spoke without looking at her. Last night, you asked why I wanted to marry you. I didn't give you a real answer. I noticed. The truth is complicated. He finally turned to face her. I have enemies, Salam. Powerful enemies. They've been waiting for an opportunity to destroy me. And one of the ways they could do that is through an arranged marriage, a political alliance, with a family I despise. Salam's blood ran cold. What are you talking about? A Korean marriage. One my grandmother has been trying to force for years. But if I'm already married. He shrugged. Problem solved. So I'm what? A shield. A solution. Salam threw back the covers and stood. Her legs were shaky, but her anger was steady. You used me. I offered you a deal. You accepted. I was drunk. You were desperate. There's a difference. Jaewon stepped closer. And I'm not done offering. What's that supposed to mean? Stay married to me for 1 year. In return, I'll give you everything you never had. Money. Safety. A future. At the end of the year, we divorce. You walk away with $5 million and a fresh start. Salam's mind reeled. $5 million. That was more money than she could comprehend. And if I refuse? Then we annul the marriage today. You walk out that door with nothing. No money. No home. No plan. Just like you were last night. Salam stared at him. This man, this stranger who is now legally her husband, was offering her a way out of everything. A way to never be hungry again. A way to never be thrown away again. But at what cost? What kind of enemies are we talking about? She asked slowly. What exactly do you do? Jaewon's expression didn't change. I run an organization. A family business. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting right now. Right now? If you agree to stay, I'll tell you everything. But once you know, there's no going back. Some secrets are dangerous, Salam. They change you. The weight of his words hung in the air. Salam thought about her options. Walk away with nothing. Or stay with a stranger who was clearly hiding something massive. What did she have to lose? 1 year, she asked. 1 year. And then I'm free? Completely. Salam took a deep breath. She thought about her mother's cold voice through the door. Her father's silence. Her stepbrother's cruel laugh. She thought about the suitcase on the porch. She thought about never having a place to belong. Fine, she said. 1 year. But I want answers. Real answers. Today. Jaewon nodded slowly. Get dressed. Breakfast is waiting. And Salam? What? Welcome to the family. They ate breakfast in a private restaurant. Just the two of them. Armed men stood at every exit. Salam noticed them immediately. Those aren't normal bodyguards. No, they're carrying assault rifles. Yes. Salam set down her fork. What exactly have I married into? Jaewon poured himself more coffee. His movements were calm. Controlled. Like a man who had never known fear. My family runs the largest Korean criminal organization on the West Coast, he said simply. Gambling. Money laundering. Protection. Imports that the government would prefer not to know about. My father built the empire. I inherited it when he died 5 years ago. Salam felt the blood drain from her face. You're a mob boss. Mafia boss, technically. But yes. And now I'm your wife. Also yes. Salam wanted to scream. She wanted to run. She wanted to wake up from this nightmare and find herself back in her mother's house, even if it meant being thrown out again. But she didn't move. Why me? She asked quietly. Out of everyone in that bar, why did you pick me? Jaewon set down his coffee. For the first time, she saw something real in his eyes. Something almost human. Because you had nothing, he said. No connections. No family. No one who would come looking for you. You were perfect. Perfect for what? A ghost bride. Someone who exists only on paper. Someone who can disappear when the year is over and leave no trace behind. The words hit Salam like bullets. She wasn't special. She wasn't chosen because of her fire or her bravery or any of the pretty things he had said last night. She was chosen because she was invisible. I could go to the police, she said. You could. Jaewon didn't seem concerned. But you won't. Why not? Because you're not stupid. You know what happens to people who cross my family. And more importantly, you know that the police can't give you what I can. And what's that? A life worth living. Salam hated him in that moment. Hated his calm certainty. Hated the way he had her figured out. Hated that he was right. I have conditions, she said. Jaewon raised an eyebrow. Conditions? I won't do anything illegal. I won't be a trophy wife. I won't pretend to be something I'm not. Anything else? I want to go to college. You'll pay for it. The whole thing. Done. And I want access to money. Not an allowance. Real access. If I'm going to play your wife, I need to look the part. Also done. Salam hesitated. There was one more thing. The most important thing. My family, she said quietly. I need to know they're safe. Jaewon's expression shifted. The family that threw you away? They're still my blood. They don't deserve your loyalty. Maybe not. But I'm not like them. I don't throw people away. Something flickered in Jaewon's eyes. Respect? Confusion? Salam couldn't tell. Fine, he said finally. Your family will be protected. From a distance. They'll never know. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Jaewon stood. You haven't met my grandmother. Jaewon's grandmother was terrifying. Her name was Madam Park Hygiene, and she was 87 years old. She sat in a wheelchair wrapped in silk, her white hair pulled back in a severe bun. Her eyes were sharp as knives. She took one look at Salam and said something in rapid Korean. Jaewon replied calmly. Salam caught her own name and nothing else. She wants to know where I found you, Jaewon translated. I told her Las Vegas. What did she say to that? She said Las Vegas is where dreams go to die. Wonderful. Madam Park wheeled closer. She reached out and grabbed Salam's hand with surprising strength. Turned it over. Studied her palm. You have strong hands, she said in heavily accented English. Working hands. Not soft like the useless women my grandson usually brings home. Thank you. It is not a compliment. Madam Park released her hand. Strong hands means stubborn heart. You will cause problems. I don't plan to cause any problems. The worst problems are never planned. Madam Park's eyes narrowed. But you have fire. I see it burning behind your eyes. That is good. Weak women do not survive this family. I'm not weak. We will see. Madam Park turned her wheelchair and rolled away. At the door, she paused. 1 year, grandson. After that, I expect a proper Korean daughter-in-law. Not this experiment. She disappeared down the hall. Salam released a breath she didn't know she was holding. That went well, Jaewon said. That was well. She didn't try to have you killed. That's practically a warm welcome. Salam stared at him. He was serious. What had she gotten herself into? Jaewon's home was a fortress. 20 rooms. 15 bathrooms. A pool. A gym. A garden. An entire floor just for his offices. And security everywhere. Cameras. Guards. Reinforced doors and bulletproof windows. Do you really need all this? Salam asked as they toured the grounds. I've survived 3 assassination attempts in the past 2 years, Jaewon replied. Yes, I need all this. Salam's room was on the 3rd floor. It was bigger than her family's entire apartment. A king-size bed. A closet the size of a normal bedroom. A bathroom with a tub she could swim in. This is mine, she asked. For the next year. Where do you sleep? Opposite end of the hall. Jaewon paused at the door. You'll have privacy here. The staff won't enter without permission. You can come and go as you please, within reason. Within reason? You'll have a security detail. Non-negotiable. My enemies will target you the moment they learn you exist. The weight of his words settled over Salam like a heavy blanket. This wasn't just a fake marriage. This was a war zone. Any other rules? She asked. A few. I'll have them written up and sent to your room. Written up? How many rules are we talking about? Jaewon's mouth twitched. Almost a smile. Fewer than you'd think. I'm not a tyrant. Could have fooled me. Careful, wife. That sharp tongue will get you in trouble. It already did. That's how I ended up here. This time, Jaewon actually laughed. It transformed his face. Made him look younger. Almost human. Get some rest, he said. Tomorrow, your new life begins. He left. Salam stood alone in her massive room, surrounded by luxury she couldn't comprehend. 24 hours ago, she had been homeless. Now she was married to a mafia boss in a house full of guards and secrets. She started laughing, then crying, then laughing again. Maybe she was losing her mind. Or maybe this was just the beginning. The first week was overwhelming. Salam was measured and fitted for an entire new wardrobe. Designers she had never heard of but apparently were very famous. Dresses and suits and shoes that cost more than her old yearly salary. She was given a credit card with no limit. When she tried to buy groceries at a normal store, the security team looked at her like she had grown a second head. Mrs. Park doesn't shop at grocery stores, one of them said. I'm not really Mrs. Park. You are now. She was also given Korean lessons. 3 hours a day with a tutor named Mr. Kim. He was patient and kind, and he didn't seem to judge her slow progress. You're doing well, he assured her after a particularly frustrating session. Korean is not an easy language. Nothing about my life is easy anymore. Mr. Kim just smiled. She saw Jae-won rarely that first week. He was always in meetings, always on calls, always dealing with problems she wasn't allowed to know about. When they did cross paths, he was polite but distant, like a business partner, not a husband, which was fine. That was what she wanted. This was a transaction, nothing more. So why did she feel so lonely? On the seventh day, Jae-won appeared at her door. Get dressed, he said. Something formal. We have an event tonight. What kind of event? The kind where you meet everyone who matters. And they meet you. Salam's stomach dropped. I'm not ready for that. You have 3 hours. Jae-won. This isn't optional, Salam. Every major family on the West Coast will be there. They need to see you. They need to believe this marriage is real. But it's not real. Jae-won's eyes met hers. Something intense flickered in their depths. Then we'll have to be very good actors. The dress was red, bold, expensive. It hugged Salam's body like it was made for her, which it was. The stylist had done her makeup and hair. She looked like someone else. Someone powerful. Someone who belonged in this world of diamonds and danger. When she came down the stairs, Jae-won was waiting. He was wearing an all-black suit, his hair perfectly styled, his presence commanding the entire room. His eyes traveled over her slowly. Something in his expression shifted. You look. He paused. Acceptable. Just acceptable? Fishing for compliments, wife? Maybe I just want to know if I'll embarrass you. Jae-won stepped closer. Close enough that she could smell his cologne. Something dark and woody and intoxicating. You could never embarrass me, he said quietly. You're stunning, Salam. Don't let anyone tonight tell you otherwise. Her heart skipped. Just for a second. Just enough to be dangerous. Let's go, she said, her voice steadier than she felt. The party was held at a mansion even bigger than Jae-won's. Hundreds of guests. Crystal chandeliers. A live orchestra. Champagne flowing like water. Salam gripped Jae-won's arm and tried not to look terrified. Breathe, he murmured in her ear. You're a park now. You answer to no one. Easy for you to say. Nothing about my life is easy. But I've learned to fake it. You will too. They moved through the crowd like royalty. People bowed. People stared. People whispered behind their hands. Salam heard fragments of conversation. Is that her? An African girl? Really? Where did he find her? Must be desperate. Each word was a knife. But Salam kept her chin high and her expression neutral. She would not give them the satisfaction of seeing her break. Then they met the Lees. The Lee family controlled the Korean Mafia on the East Coast. Their leader was a man named Lee Sung-ho. He was Jae-won's age, with slicked back hair and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. His wife stood beside him. A beautiful Korean woman in a white gown. Perfect makeup. Perfect posture. Perfect everything. Jae-won. Sung-ho spread his arms wide. Congratulations on your marriage. I couldn't believe it when I heard the news. I'm sure you couldn't. And this must be the bride. Sung-ho turned to Salam. His eyes swept over her like she was meat at a market. She's certainly exotic. Salam felt Jae-won tense beside her. Her name is Salam, Jae-won said coldly. And you will address her with respect. Of course, of course. Sung-ho's smile widened. No offense meant. I'm just surprised, that's all. We all assumed you would marry Minesio. Didn't you, darling? His wife's smile was frozen. I'm sure Jae-won knows what he's doing. Do you, though? Sung-ho leaned closer. There are rumors, you know, about this marriage being sudden. Some people think it's a little too convenient. People can think whatever they want, Jae-won replied. The truth is that I fell in love. It happens. Love. Sung-ho laughed. You? The Ice King? In love. Stranger things have happened. Sung-ho's eyes slid back to Salam. There was something predatory in his gaze. Something that made her skin crawl. Well, I look forward to getting to know you better, Mrs. Park. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of each other. He walked away. His wife trailed behind him, not sparing Salam a glance. When they were gone, Salam exhaled. Who is that? My rival. And my enemy. He seems dangerous. He is. That's why we need to be careful around him. Jae-won's jaw was tight. He's been looking for a weakness to exploit for years. If he discovers our marriage is fake, he'll use it against you. Against us. We're in this together now, Salam. Together. The word felt strange. Foreign. She had never been together with anyone in her life. But looking at Jaewon's serious face, she realized something. This wasn't just his fight anymore. It was hers too. Weeks passed. Then months. Salam settled into her new life. She attended her Korean lessons. She went to events on Jaewon's arm. She smiled for cameras and pretended to be in love. And slowly, something shifted. She started noticing things about Jaewon. The way he checked on her before every event. The way he made sure her favorite foods were always available. The way his hand found the small of her back, steadying her in crowds. Small things. Meaningless things. Except they didn't feel meaningless. You're staring, Jaewon said one night. They were in the car, driving home from yet another party. Sorry. Don't be. Just wondering what you're thinking. I'm thinking this is weird. What is? This. Us. Playing pretend every night, and then going to our separate rooms like strangers. Jaewon was quiet for a moment. Would you prefer we weren't strangers? Salam's heart stuttered. I don't know what I want. That makes two of us. They drove the rest of the way in silence. But when they reached the house, Jaewon stopped her at the stairs. Salam. Yes. He looked at her for a long moment. Something unreadable in his eyes. For what it's worth, he said quietly, you're the best thing that's happened to me in a very long time. Before she could respond, he walked away. Salam stood on the stairs, her heart pounding. What was happening? 3 months into the marriage, everything changed. Salam was leaving her Korean lesson when it happened. One moment, she was walking to the car. The next, a black van screeched to a stop beside her. Men poured out. 4 of them. Masked. Armed. Get her, one of them shouted. Salam ran. She didn't think. She just moved. Her feet pounded the pavement. Her heart slammed against her ribs. Behind her, footsteps thundered closer. A hand grabbed her arm. She screamed and twisted, remembering the self-defense lessons Jaewon had insisted she take. Elbow to the ribs. Knee to the groin. The man dropped. But there were 3 more. She made it 20 feet before they caught her. A bag went over her head. Hands lifted her off the ground. She kicked and screamed and fought with everything she had. Then something hit the back of her head. And everything went dark. Salam woke up in a warehouse. Her head throbbed. Her wrists were tied behind her back. The bag was gone, but her vision was blurry and wrong. She's awake, someone said. Footsteps approached. Salam blinked until the world came into focus. Lee Sung-ho stood before her, smiling his predator's smile. Mrs. Park. So nice to see you again. Salam's blood ran cold. What do you want? Just a conversation. No need to be afraid. You kidnapped me. I relocated you. There's a difference. My husband will kill you for this. Sung-ho laughed. Your husband. That's what I want to talk about. He crouched down to her level. See, I've been doing some research. Your marriage was very sudden. Very convenient. Almost like it was planned. Salam kept her face neutral. We fell in love. It happens. Love. Sung-ho snorted. Jaewon doesn't love anyone. He's a machine. Cold as ice. Everyone knows that. Maybe you don't know him as well as you think. Sung-ho's smile faded. He grabbed her chin, forcing her to look at him. Listen to me, little girl. I don't know what deal you made with Jaewon. I don't care. But you're going to help me destroy him. Whether you want to or not. Go to hell. Sung-ho's hand cracked across her face. Pain exploded through her cheek. That was a warning, he said calmly. The next one will be worse. Now, let's start again. Tell me everything you know about Jaewon's operations. I don't know anything. Liar. I'm his wife, not his business partner. Sung-ho stood. He paced in front of her, his shoes clicking on the concrete floor. You have 2 options, he said. Option 1, you cooperate. You tell me what I want to know. In return, I let you go. You disappear. Start a new life somewhere far away. And option 2? Sung-ho's smile returned. Colder this time. Option 2 involves a lot more pain. And an unmarked grave. Salam's heart pounded. She thought about her options. She could cooperate. She could betray Jaewon and save herself. But the thought made her sick. 3 months ago, Jaewon had been a stranger. A convenience. A means to an end. Now she didn't know what he was. But she knew she couldn't betray him. I choose option 3, she said. There is no option 3. There is now. Salam lunged. Her hands were tied, but her feet weren't. She slammed her forehead into Sung-ho's face. Blood erupted from his nose. He staggered back, screaming. The guards rushed forward. Salam managed to kick one before they pinned her down. Sung-ho stood over her, blood dripping down his chin. His smile was gone. Only rage remained. Wrong choice, he snarled. He raised his foot. Then the wall exploded. Fire and smoke. Gunshots and screams. Salam covered her head as debris rained down. Bodies moved through the chaos. Black figures with military precision. And at the center of it all, Jae-won. He walked through the fire like it was nothing. His suit was perfect. His face was calm. And his eyes were pure death. He shot 2 men without breaking stride. A third tried to run. Jae-won put a bullet in his leg, then his head. Sung-ho scrambled backward, reaching for his gun. He wasn't fast enough. Jae-won's foot came down on his wrist. Bones crunched. Sung-ho screamed. You touched my wife, Jae-won said. His voice was ice. You touched what's mine. It was just business. Wrong answer. Jae-won raised his gun. Wait. Salam's voice cut through the chaos. Don't kill him. Jae-won paused. He looked at her, and something in his expression shifted. Concern. Fear. Relief. All flickering in those dark eyes. Why not? He asked. Because if you kill him, it starts a war. Right? That's what you told me. That's why you haven't made a move against him all these years. He hurt you. I'm okay. I'm okay, Jae-won. Please. Jae-won stood frozen for a long moment. His finger was on the trigger. Every line of his body screamed for violence. Then, slowly, he lowered the gun. Get her out of here, he ordered his men. Then, to Sung-ho, you live today. But if you ever come near my wife again, I will kill you, your family, and everyone who has ever loved you. Do you understand? Sung-ho nodded frantically. Jae-won turned and walked to Salam. He knelt beside her and cut her bonds. His hands were shaking. Are you okay? He asked. Did they hurt you? I'm fine. Really? Your face. It's just a bruise. Jae-won touched her cheek. So gentle. So careful. Like she was made of glass. I should have protected you, he said. This never should have happened. It's not your fault. Yes, it is. He gathered her in his arms and lifted her like she weighed nothing. She wrapped her arms around his neck and let herself be carried. For the first time in her life, Salam felt safe. They took her to a private clinic. Doctors and nurses swarmed around her. Tests were done. Wounds were cleaned. Questions were asked. Through it all, Jae-won never left her side. He sat in a chair by her bed, his hand wrapped around hers. His thumb traced circles on her palm. Small, rhythmic, soothing. You scared me, he said quietly. When I got the call that they had taken you. I've never felt fear like that. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. You fought back. 3 of Sung-ho's men had to be hospitalized because of you. Salam managed a weak smile. Those self-defense lessons paid off. Clearly. Silence fell. But it wasn't uncomfortable. It was heavy with things unspoken. Jae-won, Salam said finally. Yes. Why did you come for me? Personally? He looked at her. His expression was open in a way she had never seen before. Because you're my wife. I'm your contract wife. There's a difference. No. He shook his head slowly. There isn't. Not anymore. Salam's heart stopped. What do you mean? Jae-won leaned closer. His free hand came up to touch her face. His eyes searched hers. 3 months ago, I married you because I needed a solution. A ghost bride. Someone who would disappear when the year was over. I remember. But something happened. Somewhere along the way, you stopped being a solution and became something else. What? Everything. The word hung in the air. Salam couldn't breathe. Jae-won. I know what we agreed, he continued. 1 year. No feelings. A simple transaction. But I don't think I can do that anymore, Salam. I don't think I want to. What are you saying? He pressed his forehead against hers. Their breath mingled in the small space between them. I'm saying I broke my own rules. I'm saying I fell for you. I'm saying that when I thought I might lose you today, I realized I couldn't survive it. Tears spilled down Salam's cheeks. This is crazy. I know. We barely know each other. I know. You're a mafia boss. I'm a girl who was thrown away like garbage. This shouldn't work. And yet here we are. Salam laughed through her tears. It was ridiculous. Impossible. Insane. And yet, kiss me, she whispered. Jaewon didn't hesitate. His lips met hers, and the world fell away. This kiss was nothing like the one at the chapel. That had been soft. Brief. A formality. This was fire. He kissed her like he was drowning and she was air. Like she was the only thing keeping him alive. His hands tangled in her hair. Her fingers clutched his shirt. When they finally broke apart, both gasping, Salam looked into his eyes. I think I fell for you too, she admitted. I don't know when. But somewhere between the Korean lessons and the fancy parties, and you always making sure I was okay, it happened. Is that a good thing? I don't know yet. But I want to find out. Jaewon smiled. A real smile. The kind that transformed his face and made him look like a different person entirely. Then let's find out together. Things changed after that night. They still had separate rooms. Still maintained appearances. But now there were stolen moments. Quiet dinners. Long conversations. Kisses in dark hallways. Salam learned more about Jaewon. About his childhood. His parents. His grandmother's expectations. The weight of leading an empire he had never asked for. Jaewon learned more about Salam. About Ethiopia. About her dreams of going to college. About the family that had thrown her away and the wounds that still hadn't healed. They were both broken. Both scarred. Both terrified of letting someone in. But somehow, together, they were healing. Tell me about your parents, Jaewon said one night. They were lying on her bed, fully clothed, just holding each other. My real parents? Or the ones who raised me? Both. Salam sighed. My birth parents died when I was 5. A car accident. I barely remember them. Just flashes. My mother's laugh. My father's hands. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. My aunt took me in after that. Her husband, my stepfather, never wanted me. But they needed my mother's death benefits, so they kept me around. They used you. They tolerated me. There's a difference. Salam's voice was bitter. When they moved to America, I thought things would get better. But they just got worse. I was an extra mouth to feed. A burden. They made sure I knew it every day. Jaewon's arms tightened around her. They were wrong. You're not a burden. You're a miracle. Salam laughed sadly. A miracle? You survived everything they threw at you. You came out stronger. That's miraculous, Salam. She turned to look at him. His face was soft in the dim light. Open. Vulnerable. What about your parents? She asked. Jaewon was quiet for a long moment. My father was the head of the family. Cold. Distant. But fair. He taught me everything I know about the business. Did you love him? I respected him. I'm not sure love was ever part of our relationship. And your mother? Something shifted in Jaewon's expression. Pain. Old and deep and barely contained. My mother was different. She didn't come from this world. My father married her because she was beautiful and he wanted her. She never wanted this life. What happened to her? She left. When I was 10. Just walked out one day and never came back. Salam's heart broke. She left you. She left everything. The family. The business. Me. His voice was flat. Controlled. I found out years later that she died in Seoul. Overdose. She couldn't escape, so she found another way out. Jaewon. It's fine. It was a long time ago. But it wasn't fine. Salam could see it in his eyes. The little boy who had been abandoned by his mother was still in there, still hurting. She kissed him. Soft. Tender. Pouring everything she felt into the gesture. I'm not going anywhere, she whispered against his lips. I won't leave you. Jaewon pulled her closer. Promise? Promise. They held each other until dawn. A month later, Madam Park's health took a turn. She collapsed during breakfast. The doctors came. Tests were done. The diagnosis was grim. Her heart is failing, the doctor explained to Jaewon. We can make her comfortable, but you should prepare yourself. Jaewon's face was stone. But Salam saw his hands shaking. She took his hand in hers. He didn't pull away. Later, they sat by Madam Park's bedside. The old woman looked small in the hospital bed. Fragile. Nothing like the fierce dragon who had terrified Salam on her first day. "Grandmother," Jaewon said softly. "I'm here." Madam Park's eyes opened. They were still sharp despite everything. "Where's the girl?" she asked. "I'm here." Salam stepped closer. Madam Park studied her for a long moment. Then, slowly, she smiled. "You're still here," she said. "I didn't expect that. I don't give up easily." "No, you don't." The old woman reached for Salam's hand. "I was wrong about you. When Jaewon first brought you home, I thought you were just another temporary distraction. But you're different." "How so?" "You love him. Really love him. I can see it in your eyes." Salam's throat tightened. "Yes, I do." "Good." Madam Park squeezed her hand weakly. "He needs someone like you. Someone who isn't afraid of him. Someone who sees the man, not the monster." "He's not a monster." "No, but he thinks he is." Madam Park's eyes found Jaewon. "My grandson has spent his whole life building walls, pushing people away, convincing himself that he doesn't need anyone." "Grandmother." "Hush. Let me finish." She took a shaky breath. "I don't have much time left, but I need you to promise me something. Both of you." "Anything," Jaewon said. "Don't let fear win. Don't push each other away when things get hard. Don't repeat the mistakes your parents made." "We won't. Promise me." Jaewon looked at Salam. She looked back at him. "We promise," they said together. Madam Park smiled. Her eyes fluttered closed. "Good," she whispered. "Good." She passed away 3 days later. Peacefully. In her sleep. Jaewon didn't cry at the funeral. He stood like a statue, accepting condolences with a blank face. But that night, alone with Salam, he finally broke. She held him while he sobbed, ran her fingers through his hair, whispered words of comfort in English and the Korean she had learned. "I've got you," she said. "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." And she meant every word. The year was almost up. 11 months had passed. The contract deadline loomed. And Salam still didn't know what would happen next. They hadn't talked about it. Every time she tried to bring it up, Jaewon changed the subject. It was the one thing they couldn't seem to face. But Salam needed answers. She needed to know where she stood. She found him in his office late one night. He was staring at a document. "The contract." "Can we talk?" she asked. Jaewon looked up. He looked tired. Older than his years. "About what?" "You know what?" Silence. He set down the contract and leaned back in his chair. "The year is almost up," Salam continued. "According to our agreement, I should start preparing to leave. Is that what you want?" "I'm asking what you want." Jaewon was quiet for a long moment. His eyes searched her face. "I don't want you to go," he said finally. "I want you to stay. Forever. As your wife. As my wife. My partner. My equal." He stood and walked around the desk. Stopped in front of her. "I know we started this as a transaction. I know it was supposed to be temporary. But everything I feel for you is real, Salam. I want a future with you. A real one." Salam's eyes filled with tears. "Are you asking me to marry you?" "For real this time." "I'm asking you to stay. The marriage is already real enough for me. But the contract." Jaewon picked up the document. With one swift motion, he tore it in half. "There is no contract," he said. "There's only us." Salam launched herself into his arms. He caught her, lifting her off her feet, spinning her around. "I love you," she said against his neck. "I love you so much. I love you too. God, I love you too." He kissed her. Deep and passionate and full of promise. When they broke apart, Salam was laughing and crying at the same time. "What now?" she asked. "Now," Jaewon grinned. "Now we live. Together." They had a second wedding. A real one this time. No Elvis impersonator. No neon signs. Just family and friends and love. Salam wore a traditional Ethiopian dress. White with colorful embroidery. Gold jewelry that Jaewon had made specially for her. Jaewon wore a traditional Korean hanbok. Blue and silver. He looked like a prince from a fairy tale. The ceremony was a blend of both cultures. Ethiopian coffee ceremony. Korean bowing. Vows spoken in 3 languages, English, Korean, and Amharic. Dawit, Salam's brother from Ethiopia, the one she had reconnected with after leaving her toxic family, walked her down the aisle. "You look happy, sister," he said. "I am happy. For the first time in my life." "Then he must be a good man." "He is. He really is." The vows were simple. No fancy words. Just truth. "I promise to love you," Salam said. "In the good times and the bad. When you're cold, I'll warm you. When you're broken, I'll hold you. You will never be alone again." "I promise to protect you," Jaewon said. "Not because you're weak, but because you're precious." "You saved me, Salam. You gave me a reason to be more than a monster. I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret choosing me." The kiss was perfect. The reception was loud and joyful. Dancing, laughter, tears. Lee Sung-ho and his wife were not invited. 5 years later, Salam stood on the balcony of their home and watched the sun set over Los Angeles. So much had changed. She had graduated from college. Business degree. Top of her class. Now she ran the legitimate side of Jaewon's empire. The charities, the investments, the community programs. Jaewon had shifted the family business. Less crime. More legitimate operations. It was slow progress, but it was progress. They had a daughter now. 3 years old. Dark curly hair like her mother. Intense eyes like her father. They named her Hiram, after Jaewon's grandmother. "What are you thinking about?" Jaewon's arms wrapped around her from behind. His chin rested on her shoulder. "Everything," Salam said. "Us. How we started. Where we are now. Any regrets?" "Not a single one." He pressed a kiss to her neck. "Good. Because you're stuck with me. I can think of worse fates." "Only worse fates?" "I'm hurt." Salam laughed and turned in his arms. Even after 5 years, he still took her breath away. "I love you," she said. "I love you too. Always." A small voice interrupted them. "Mama. Daddy. The movie is starting." They looked toward the living room, where Hiram was bouncing impatiently on the couch. "Coming, baby," Salam called. But she didn't move. Not yet. She took one more moment to look at Jaewon. At this man who had started as a stranger and became her everything. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" "For seeing me. That night in the bar. When everyone else looked through me, you saw me." Jaewon's expression softened. "You were the first real thing I'd ever seen." "How could I not?" "Mama. Daddy. Hurry." They laughed and walked inside together. The movie was some animated thing Hiram loved. They sat on the couch, their daughter between them, and Salam felt her heart overflow. 18 years old. Abandoned. Broken. That girl felt like a stranger now. Because Salam Park was not broken anymore. She was whole. She was loved. She was home. And that's the story. Did you cry? Did you scream? Drop a comment below and tell me your favorite moment. If you loved Salam and Jaewon, smash that like button and follow this page for more dark romance stories. I post new content every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for staying until the end. You're amazing. See you in the next story. Broken Heart Red Heart Fire.